Let's take a look now at how the markets are performing on this Wednesday afternoon. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange is trading firmer so far today as investors digest the extent of the damage that the unrest in the country has inflicted on various businesses. Sentiment has been under pressure in the past few days as the riots and looting in various provinces hurt the local businesses. The rand could be on track for its third day of losses, reaching an intraday worse of 14 rand 78 to the dollar. But for an update on the latest market developments, we're joined now by Karl Gevers, who is portfolio manager and co-founder at Benguela Global Fund Managers, and he'll be talking us through the latest market developments. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time today. Now, looking at the rand, it continues to trade at 3-month lows amid the ongoing violent protests that we're seeing in the country. We also see bonds that they're under pressure now as well. How low do you think the local currency can go in these turbulent times?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult question to know how low it can go, because it can certainly continue weakening, beyond the 15 to the dollar level. The rand has been quite strong over the last year or so, given the global impact, the support from a low interest rate environment and risk on environment, and certainly it's shot out. I mean, you mentioned the rand being at over 14.70, and it's a sign that there is a bit of panic in terms of capital leaving the market. And the political risk heightening in terms of investment, and that's showing in the bond yields.
Now, we see Sapref Oil Refinery, they've declared a force majeure and they've shut down a third of South Africa's fuel supply. Take us through developments there and what this means for fuel in an already unstable South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, it'll have a big impact. I mean, we've got 6 refineries in South Africa, 2 of them in KZN or Durban, and the Sapref refinery being about a third of South Africa's fuel supply. So it's a significant portion that'll be taken offline, and that'll certainly disrupt supply chains. And the reason why it's actually shut down is also because of the logistics within KZN have come to a standstill. So it'll probably lead to fuel shortages potentially, and then also beyond that, the impact is obviously quite significant as you end up with logistics coming under pressure, and that'll impact food availability and so on countrywide.
Have they given us an indication of how long this force majeure will be declared for?
Not that I'm aware of, but I think it'll, until things calm down, I think that'll be the deciding factor.
Do you have an idea of how much fuel we actually have available? How long perhaps that the country can last without a third of its normal fuel supply?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I don't think there's too much storage capacity in terms of having that backup. So I think it'll probably be a few days or weeks where we can, able to run off whatever is available. But taking a third of the production off is quite significant, and it will have an impact.
Let's move on now to other issues. Investec, they've launched a business account to attract mid-sized firms. Do you think that the bank will be able to draw those businesses, or is the market for specifically this particular tier saturated, as other major banks have already made inroads there?
Yeah, I think currently there is probably a gap in terms of just service levels of this market. The mid-sized business, Investec indicating businesses over the 30 million turnover level can open an account. So I think that there is a bit of a gap in the market with the big 4 banks, sometimes disappointing, in terms of their service levels. So an opportunity for Investec, who might have the private banking, the executives of these smaller companies already on board as clients. It'll make it a lot easier for them to shift across to Investec. So I think that they should get some good traction.
AngloGold Ashanti plans to pay 5.4 billion rand cash to buy Corvus Gold and thus extend its expropriation footprint in Nevada in the United States. If you could take us through that sale agreement and what this means for the group's service offering.
Yeah, so currently AngloGold actually owns 20% of Corvus Gold. Corvus Gold listed or based in Canada with exploration assets in Nevada in the US. And we know that AngloGold has exited its South African operations, and the last one being Mponeng that it sold to Harmony. So focusing its efforts in that area. They've got 3 adjacent properties, so it'll bring that all together. I mean, it is part of where the cycle is now in terms of the commodity cycle, and in this case for gold, the high prices have made the appetite for investment increased that, and AngloGold in this case buying an exploration company, which is generally high risk and would require a greenfield project from scratch, which is there are not many brownfields opportunities available in terms of the gold sector. So this is an indication that money will be spent on new projects to build a mine. I mean, the indications are potentially that they could build a mine of cost of production of $800 per ounce, which is quite low if you compare it to the rest of the industry.
In summary, Karl, how would you say the current unrest and the looting in the country and the destruction of businesses, how has that affected the markets?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously negative for the South African based businesses. We've got the retailers, the banks, the property stocks the insurers that all came under pressure yesterday specifically. Today there's a bit more improvement in the views there in terms of the pricing, but certainly it's the weakening rand is good for the exporters and the mining sector. So we've seen a strong rally within the mining sector over the last few days. So the local market is quite externalized, so a big portion is offshore in terms of the operations. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's got a big impact on economic growth, investor confidence, and that's not good.
Thank you very much, Karl Gevers, for the market update for today. He's portfolio manager and co-founder at Benguela Global Fund.